A mother's love is said to be the safest place on earth, a sacred, unbreakable bond. But in a quiet unit in Mount Druitt, that bond was shattered beyond comprehension. This is the story of 6-year-old Kiesha Weippeart, and the haunting, unthinkable question: how does a mother become the source of her child's greatest terror? Her world was supposed to be a home. It became a place of hidden pain. Stay with us until the very end, as we unravel not just what happened, but why. This is a journey into the darkest failure of protection, and a tragedy that asks how a mother's love could turn so tragically, devastatingly, into a child's final nightmare. On a quiet morning in August 2010, a panicked call came from Mount Druitt in Sydney. A mother, Kristi Abrahams, reported her 6-year-old daughter, Kiesha Weippeart, missing. She said she had put Kiesha to bed the night before, but in the morning the girl was gone. The front door of their home was found open, and Kiesha had vanished without a trace. The community was shocked, and a desperate search for the little girl began. This is the unsettling start to a tragic true crime story. Police launched an urgent search, knowing the first hours were critical. They interviewed Kristi Abrahams, but she could provide few details about what happened to Kiesha. She lived in the unit with her partner Robert Smith and their new baby. Detectives also spoke to Kiesha's biological father, Kristi Weippeart. He and Kristi had separated years ago, and due to limited contact, he had not seen his daughter recently. Kristi's friend and neighbor, Allison Anderson, encouraged her to tell police everything she suspected. This included an incident where Chris had reportedly made a threatening gesture near their home. But Kristi defended Robert. She insisted he was out looking for Kiesha and was not involved in her disappearance. She denied any possibility of his guilt. Police and volunteers launched a massive search of Mount Druitt's bushland and parks. They found nothing. Investigators created Strike Force Garrison. They soon made a chilling discovery. No one outside Kiesha's family had seen her since early July. She had also not been to school in weeks. This was nearly 3 weeks before she was reported missing. This long gap in time raised grave and immediate suspicions. Public appeals for Kiesha's safe return began immediately. In front of news cameras, Kristi and her partner Robert Smith pleaded for any information about their daughter. They insisted they had no idea who could have taken her. The community in Mount Druitt rallied with incredible support. People held candlelit vigils and placed flowers, cards, and soft toys outside the family's unit. Everyone expressed a single shared hope: that Kiesha would be found alive and well. Suspicion grew as the weeks passed. The family of 6-year-old Kiesha Weippeart did not join the public searches for her. Instead, her mother, Kristi Abrahams, and her stepfather, Robert Smith, were seen carrying on with normal activities, like shopping and getting their hair and nails done. This behavior, combined with their avoidance of the media, drew strong public criticism and raised serious questions for investigators. Some controversy emerged when a local market used Kiesha's name for a fundraiser. Her mother, Kristi, called it exploitative and demanded it stop. She argued there was no proper trust fund for the money. The organizers defended their actions, saying they only wanted to raise awareness and funds for the community. Forensic evidence revealed a grim reality. Blood matching Kiesha's was found throughout her home. During questioning, police confronted her mother, Kristi, with inconsistencies about that day, including the movements of her partner, Robert. In April 2011, following a major undercover operation, police arrested Kristi Abrahams and her partner Robert Smith for murder. An undercover officer had gained Kristi's confidence. She confessed the terrible truth. She explained that Kiesha had refused to put on pajamas, leading Kristi to nudge her with her foot. Kiesha fell, struck her head, and became unconscious. Kristi put her in the shower to try and revive her, but Kiesha made strange noises and died. Instead of calling for help, they put her body in a suitcase for several days. Later, they used petrol to burn her remains in bushland near Shalvey. They covered the site with branches. Kiesha's autopsy told a devastating story. Her body showed severe injuries, including multiple fractures to her teeth and jaw. There were also 10 separate wounds on her head and body. These injuries were consistent with prolonged, severe physical abuse, not a single accident. Her mother, Kristi, had a difficult past marked by trauma. She experienced domestic violence as a child, lost her mother at age 10, and spent time in foster care. She also faced intellectual challenges. Before Kiesha, Kristi had a son, Aiden, who died at just 6 weeks old, though no abuse was found at the time. Kiesha's own young life was filled with documented abuse. A bite mark at 15 months old resulted in a conviction for Kristi. Officials and neighbors had reported seeing other injuries, like bruises and burns, over the years. Kiesha also rarely attended school, despite repeated visits from truancy officers. Despite these many warning signs, Kiesha remained in her mother's care. In 2013, Kristi Abrahams pleaded guilty to the murder of her daughter and interfering with a corpse. She was sentenced to a minimum of 16 years and a maximum of 22.5 years in prison. The judge said the killing resulted from violent force against a vulnerable child, within a tragic cycle of intergenerational abuse. However, the court could not definitively say she caused all of Kiesha's prior injuries. Robert Smith was convicted of manslaughter and being an accessory after the fact. He received a minimum sentence of 12 years. This case left deep scars on the community, family, and supporters who felt betrayed. Kiesha's story highlighted tragic failures in protecting vulnerable children. Her loved ones worked to ensure she is remembered as a beloved child who deserved safety, joy, and a childhood free from fear. Her headstone reflects this enduring love, stating she will forever remain a part of her family. It's a belief held deeply within us, a fundamental law of nature. A mother's love is supposed to be unconditional, protective, and safe. So when we hear a story like Kiesha Weippeart's, our minds reject it. The painful truth experts reveal is that in the darkest cases, the bond of protection can be completely severed by forces stronger than instinct. For Kristi Abrahams, it wasn't a sudden, monstrous impulse. It was the catastrophic endpoint of a life defined by severe, intergenerational trauma. She was a child who was never mothered herself, neglected, abused, and abandoned by the system meant to protect her. By the time she had a daughter, she was an adult carrying the profound scars of a brutalized child, compounded by an intellectual disability that limited her ability to cope. Her own unresolved pain, her deep-seated anger at her own childhood, and her complete lack of healthy parenting models created a toxic environment. Kiesha, an innocent child, became an outlet for that festering trauma. The judge called it an entrenched intergenerational failure. The failure wasn't just Kristi's. It was a chain of failures that led to her being a parent without the most basic tools for love or care. This is why this story is not just a true crime case for our viewing time. It bears a critical lesson for every parent, mother, and father. The responsibility of a parent is not just to feed and clothe a child. It is to break the cycle. It is to look at our own wounds, our own triggers, and our own pasts with brutal honesty. Are we parenting from our pain? Are we repeating patterns we swore we'd never repeat? It means seeking help before we reach a breaking point. It means understanding that asking for support, through counseling, parenting programs, or simply reaching out, is not a sign of failure, but the ultimate act of love and protection for our children. Kiesha's story is a devastating reminder that a mother can never kill her child, is only true in a world where mothers are themselves nurtured, supported, and healed. The lesson here is for all of us to build that world, starting within our own homes, by ensuring we are emotionally capable of giving the safe, joyful childhood every single child deserves.